I am gonna want to say, no, but this is who I am, and put down my writing portfolio. And at a certain point, I am gonna want to create a new channel.
It's just that in my writing, I have always had a kind of extreme amoral
Playing with is like how to get my writing going, because I'm understanding where my writing's place in the world is a lot more now. I really wish that Doctor Who could be made like my writing teachers suggest, which is write as long as it takes to sort out your reply, which I love, and so that's why my writing is always infinitely better. In order to get anything done in terms of my writing, I basically had to do it in one session, right?
is my writing, because I keep it's guilt. It's kind of dissecting and analysing my writing in light of this story, because I think it's kind of like, it's good.
I mean, honestly, I go about my writing saying, and then he killed her, and then this happened, and then,
so I can send a statement through my writing and my actions, and don't have to fantasize about it. I am really not in a good space. I'm basically just living for the sake of my writing. Real world conflicts that I want to talk about through the medium of my writing. And like, sci-fi allows us to I mean, my writing, I suppose you can argue maybe that's a legacy, but for fuck's sake, and writing gives me purpose. I don't write because anybody needs to read my writing. I write with an eye to the audience, because
it's the damn thing, because the more I do, the better my writing is, then the more likely you guys
terms with things is my writing. And that's why I'm focusing on my writing a lot, because essentially I wrote an awful... It's just not, because my writing style is very, very different from my presentation style, and I can't... yeah, that's good. And my writing is in a good place at the moment. Miniaturina, let's play Fallout 4 Nuka World, because I think I need to take a break from my writing for a bit. Because I will use my writing to do so, and I've been trying to use my writing to advance that course, but the thing is, it doesn't work. What I'm going to do with my life, almost, using my writing to illustrate an internal struggle, But my writing is shit, and it's worse than shit. It's hateful. Possibly try and do to make it better. And I think maybe with my writing there is. Maybe.
and science of Doctor Who has helped me particularly in my writing, and the science of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, though, to be honest,
either do something with or find a way to get rid of, but it's a sign that my writing is doing its fucking job again.
Okay, that's my writing done, so you'll be able to read my work in the dibbly-doo and...
The writing career, to call it a career is to overstate drastically, but you know, I have spent my writing and the stuff I make.
Is when people compliment me on my writing, and it's not just because I'm a writer and ooh ego. It's a bit of escapism, a little bit of hope, and maybe influence minds a little through my writing, and so I almost have the opposite problem in that, like, because my writing is, because I always write power imbalanced relationships, right? Descriptions when it comes to my writing are the opposite, because if I'm reading a story, and my writing is getting better. It is. My writing is getting better. It can be frustrating. I mean, for God's sake, my writing is all about frustration, right? It's frustration that I need to improve my writing. There is shit here to help me improve my writing, and I discovered that. Well, I suppose actually it is quite. No, if someone wants to attack my writing, fine, go ahead. You're right. It's a piece of shit. Always is. Yes. And this is something that I endeavour to show in my writing, because it is a very simple message that is very effective. I have a blog where you can read my writings and see the original sort of fictions that I write, and my channel. Well, to be honest, I'm not even sure my writing is a talent. I think it is more something that I am less writing. To my writing due to Where Self-Dawning. Where Self-Dawning is now instantly at 55.
And so I effectively have to trick the brain through fetishes. This is what, and I do this through my writing, and it is through this method,
sort of putting things together and stuff again. Like, I'm doing my writing. I don't have an... I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not saying my, videos are literally summoning Lovecraftian monsters. My writing does feature Lovecraftian monsters, but there's people about fetishes anymore, considering that I've literally kind of rebooted the entire fucking series of my writing, and started it again in the fantasy unit. Because Lord knows I will not be giving a shit about what you think of my writing. Okay, so this kind of hate base has now found my blog, place where I do my writing and my essays, and I suppose, like, with my writing, I kind of fudge it a little, in the sense to be discussing this sort of stuff, because all it really does is affect my writing. But it does also affect the ways in which I am capable. All I have to live for at the moment is my writing and my Skyrim and my podcast. Structured plan for what I'm going to do for my writing, okay? So when I'm going up the hill to get my shown in my writing, like a lot of my writing rid of. Although in the case of my writing, it's because you can't quite get rid of them, because you sort of need them to prevent you all of this shit. Is I am getting better at my writing so that someday I can write a Farshnook story. I think that part of the issue that I have had with my writing is that this is an element. Like reviews that are easy and quick and convenient to do.
It's kind of like with my writing. It's a cardinal sin of writing. You should never write this blind spot in the shit I do. This kind of part of my writing that is just kind of.
There's going to be a bit of changes because I realised that my writing was crap, and I want to experiment with more fictitious.
Flipping Billio. And yeah, my writing, which I kind of usually use to kind of feel happy and fun about things. I decided that I would continue eating meat and just criticize it through my writing, because it's like, oh no, hang on. Kinkster, I'm also coming to terms with the place my writing fits in. Sort of the niches and
Kind of what it is in my writing, in that itself would just be this kind of like.
And so I need to get by through my writing, and if that can offer some perspective, so I'm gonna talk about my writing, and you can feel free not to give a shit. Enjoyed the last 3 parts are sort of me talking about my writing. If you haven't seen them, I highly. Vids are my fucking. They help me with my writing so much. I have like so many playlists that I think the latest. Well, it's kind of appropriately like the families in my writing. A very weird thing, but it's a very weird thing, and I'm not entirely sure. My sort of logic magic idea is that in my writing, it is an explicit part of the law that essentially. I know that actually I do kind of want to do this. Whatever this is, whatever my writing on my blogs and my Facebook and these YouTube, my method of productivity in the past is not worth it, right? My writing, the thing that I am proud about, the thing that I call yeah, I think my writing is gonna be the thing that I'm gonna try and focus on. Just it's the kind of the side of me that's on the surface, but then there is also the side of me that comes out in my writing, which is the thing that happens in fuzzy logic and within my writing, is the idea that there is essentially, because of the way logic works, and racial equality virtue. I am well aware that my writing has many flaws in. I am someone who, as you might be able to tell from my writing, is someone who is kind of directed more towards the sort of all sorts of ways that people can be coerced. I mean, heck, a good deal of my writing is about the fucking ways in which people can be coerced.
If it turns out that Twilight is better than my writing, I will fucking let you know. And then I will fucking strive to, through being moderators or whatever, like using my writing skills, I might try and, sell some things, something that people pay for, obviously, because I don't earn the fucking rights. But I think at this stage, my writing is at a point where I would be happy.
Really, brilliant, and analysing it, and that's helped me with my work, my writing, and he's just sort of staring at me, going, "Yeah, mate."
I was writing a blog, and then I was going to do my writing, and then my mate comes up on Skype, and he's like, "Are the videos funny or interesting, or you like my writing, or..." I don't know. I mean, I know that my videos kind of, my blogs are most critical of my writing, but in a way, I don't feel like that's a waste, because as much as, yeah, adequately vent my lust
through porn, then I will end up writing this fetishistic shit into my writing. And now I'm throwing myself into my writing, and I am thinking of. So the idea that I can essentially like do my nerdy stuff, do my writing, do my job, and then just I don't have faith in my writing abilities anymore. I don't have faith. At this point, I am basically living for my writing. I am living for the exploration of characters and concepts and themes and ideas. Like, I genuinely recommend that if you have ever liked any of my writing, that you give this one a shot. I know that my writing is not, you know, I'm not Ian M. Banks. I'm not even discovered Troc. I discovered fanvids which help me with my writing and whenever I'm feeling down or depressed to this day. 7 is a number that I plucked out of my fucking ass to do for my writing. And I always used to be crap at Blast. I felt fucking awesome. And when I finished my writing, I was over the moon, and I was like, yes, I shall now return. I need to rant. I did just need to rant, and I'll do my writing, and I'll do my Skyrim, and I'll listen to many things to help me sort of figure out who I am, and that sort of my writing is sort of through metaphor. Writing that you're gonna do, you should be doing some kind of research, but I never do, which is why my writing is shit. But it does take comic format. I have actually tried to put my writing into a comic format before, but that's because I went to university with artists. I have seen that fucking story so many times before. You know, like, say what you will about my writing skill, there haven't been many. It's a theme that I've noticed in my writing of just tiredness. Just complete and utter tiredness. And why sort of worry stuff is a theme in my writing at the moment, because that whole sort of guilty pleasure of, oh, and if nothing else, I might be able to educate the people through my writing and through my videos, even if I can't necessarily. I've been taking the third way, and this has shown in my writing. Like, a lot of my writing.
Gonna get into that. I mean, okay, you know, it's my writing, and so yes, there are an awful lot of submissive women who are literally owned, and it's that.
Well, I actually think I'm quite good at my writing, and you shall go to hell for that. Well, I actually, you know, I think I'm at a point now where I'm confident enough in my writing abilities, and I want the channel to be about my writing. There's still going to be reviews, because the reviews
explain more in detail. Okay, things are going well in my writing, reasonably, despite sort of attempts by trolls to derail it. A bit of escapism, a little bit of hope, and maybe influence minds a little through my writing, and
Sylph and Wereshark races. Like, they aren't the Sylph and the Wereshark from my writing, but still, they're.
Indeed, that's partly why I'm stopping doing this. Focus on my writing and writing stuff, but
Because I like life, because I'm actually liking my writing,
because I'm, you know, liking my blog and my YouTube channel, and I'm liking my let's. My writing is what I write for me, is what I do for me. And I know that this is hard for and I listened to that and I was just like, I need to improve my writing. There is shit here to help me improve my writing. And then became a thing where I talk about my writing, and it became like the hub of all this other stuff, and it's like every other thing. A bit of angst of late with regards to my writing. I've made sort of videos about this and stuff, but basically, no, I've got my writing, I've got my fiction, I've got my box sets to work through.
Probably going to be quite a significant event in terms of the Moldiverse and my writing of it, because this is
and B, I think my writing is kind of improving for it. Yeah, it's a very
94. That is a very problematic world, okay? And I'm not comparing my work, my writing to 1984 because,
yes, fundamentally there is an element of my writing that is driven by lust. And the need for writing characters that appear so that I can figure myself out. Right. In the sense that my writing is how I grappled with, and to a certain extent the angst regarding my writing is part of that. It's the whole... And incidentally, my writing, whilst
the Unleasher, of course, being within the lore of my writing, the female incarnation of the Chinook.
Because of this struggle, because of this unfortunate side of my writing. And but I have been essentially devote myself to my writing, to my writing, to get plans together about how to get out of this place. I'm doing my writing, I'm meeting people, I've got good friends. For someone who hates attention, my writing is really just the worst. Explain a little about my writing and about kind grappled with, and to a certain extent the angst regarding my writing is part of that. It's the whole diarrhea, some, you know, work of art, right? My writing isn't really writing, but you know, I have an understanding. That's why my writing is always infinitely better well, not infinitely, but my writing is always so much better than my videos. To a certain extent myself, with regards to my writing. Like, I'm perfectly happy, you know, thinking this stuff. I'm perfectly happy writing this stuff. I'm perfectly... Set me back a long way. Because my writing is my self-care, right? My writing is my escapism, it is... And that's kind of where I'm at the moment in my writing, is exploring this weird idea. And I'm not able to do my writing properly because every time I try to write, there is this part of myself that kicks in and just... and it's indeed easier for me to sexualize women in my writing and stuff than it is for me to sexualize men in my writing too, so I'm not going to criticize. And also, like, I mean, even if we disregard my writing, there is the fact that I choose and yeah, I think my writing is gonna be the thing that I'm gonna try and focus on. Just an awful lot of Nazis die. And yeah, if you like Donald Trump, don't read my writing. Just a thing I wanted to do. And that my writing was a way to tell that thing. I know. Even when it was fucking writing in my writing and stuff than it is for me to sexualize men in my writing and stuff, despite the fact that I am a bisexual. And there are a video sort of explaining my internal conflict with regards to my writing. Watch all these shows and let's plays and podcasts, and I can do my writing, and I have infinite
published, even self-published. But one of the things in my writing, one of the pieces of technology, is called a memory gun.
So now that I am turning my writing skills towards this benefit, I think things will work out for the better. Again, I don't do any research for my writing, and it's like I don't even understand basic terminology when I believe in the myth of the perfect first draft, which is probably why my writing is so shit. But I genuinely find a good thing that I can do with my writing. To find an importance. Transphobic, and essentially the evidence being a piece of my writing that was kind of a slap across the face, and
I think actually thinking about my writing, my NaNoWriMo, that's what I've done, is that I need to be able to get my writing out there, because I need to get something of me to
future. I'm gonna try and make what I do, my writing, be the focus of what I do, and make the audiobooks of those be the focus.
Include a link to a link to where you can read some of my writings and stuff if you can be bothered.
I have grown and improved, and my writing, right? When I first started doing writing, but also my writing, my writing has reached a point where
somewhere to stay and kind of trying to continue on reviewing through all of that and doing my writing and trying to, and suffice to say, I will be playing with other approaches of getting my writing out there to you guys. Okay, so that's planning done, okay?
The Virgin New Adventures really inspired a lot of my writing, and also at the same time, I've really sort of torture me with basically everything that sort of scares me, so I've pretty much spent my writing career, call it a career is to overstate drastic, but I sort of I'm on a sort of break in my writing at the moment, and that's sort of, if you only like certain videos, or you dislike my writing or whatever, it's totally you do you, I suppose, yes, now is the point where I will dissect my writing and say, and this is why I am so incredibly that by the time I have completed up to even Series 3, that I am, all of my angsting about my writing is gonna go the fuck away. And, sort of my writing is me sort of dealing with the whole no family thing. Suppose the bits that come into my writing that kind of come from my fucked up feelings with regard is holding me back, and I've been feeling that for a while because there is another aspect to my writing, which is
will grow up into exact clones of the people they are. Yes, I will admit that some of my writing is quite crass in some ways, but there's...
because I've got my nerd cave. I've got my nerd cave. I've got my writing. I've got my games that I enjoy, you know, and so, you know, they represent, you know, in my writing, they represent the part of me that enjoys being trapped. That's one of the reasons that I am kind of so fucking sick at the moment, which is, you know, my writing and how fucking grim it is. So, basically, but in my writing and stuff, I'm trying to sort of deal with this. And myself, you know, looking at in my writing, you know, I've gotten better. I've gotten a whole lot, and sort of the lore of my writing. Let's tackle some questions about my writing and your thoughts.
And yet at the same time, if I can't, you know, if my writing can't serve a fucking...
Genuinely, this is why, incidentally, bullshit comes up so much in my writing, because I'm basically saying, this is disgusting, right? Things were going well in my writing, reasonably, and then I sort of took a break to, you know, catch up on things, to watch, you know, eventually when I save up the money, when I get enough, when I can use my writing well enough, or whatever, to I love my writing plays with, you know, themes of, you know, imbalanced relationships. I finished updating my sister's laptop. I have finished doing my writing at goddamn last. Well, not finished. Having explained my writing and sort of the lore of my writing, let's tackle
people too, if they want to know what's going on in this future episode talking about my writing. And yeah, all I will say is, again, kind of, this is why I'm so embarrassed by my writing, because it's, to me, it feels like it's, and I mean, I was just thinking about my writing, right? Yeah, but in my writing, right, I can go back and I can fix stuff. Like, I am someone who, you might have noticed, enlightened of beings, at least when it comes to my writing. But even when I do descriptions in my writing, I'm someone who sketches stuff out. Not literally, but as in the internet, and thus sad, lonely fuckwittedness is fortunately well catered to. My writing is basically all that. Times are weird, but my writing is going well, and
You can see all of my shitty writing. You know, I will not be unafraid to compare my writing to Twilight. I will, you know.
I do have this thing that, you know, there isn't ever any actual sex shown in my writing. And this story that I'm writing, and basically that's where my writing came from. In the sense that, yeah, you something that will have people hating me as much as my writing may make them want to hate me. Anyway, I'm gonna go away now.
You know, safely find a way to not write scenes into my writing that are just bad snot. You know, an awful lot of cosmic angst about, oh my god, my writing is so horrible, I need to improve it, and blah blah blah. But I've got my podcast, I've got my Let's Plays, I'm starting looking for a job. My writing's going well. You make videos about the writing. People will rush to the defense of my writing. The fact that the videos where I angst about my writing are the thing that I was using the thing that I think I'm best at, my writing. Because I didn't feel the need to actually use a transphobic piece of shit. Which sucks. It sucks that my writing made them feel that way. That they... What my writing symbolizes, what my writing is about finding... And I very much like that. It's kind of something that I aspire to do in my writing. You know, to see the little ways... You know, they're gonna lash out. But you know, my writing is going to be problematic. Came back to this later. After that break, I actually feel like my writing of this has improved, and to be honest, my writing in general has simply try and do to make it better. And I think, maybe, with my writing, there is. Maybe. A little bit okay at. I think in future I'm going to try and make what I do, my writing be the focus of what I do, and part of this coming to terms with things is my writing. And that's Multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I like to try and focus on, you know, in improving my writing. The problems of representation for women in writing, and yet my writing, I mean, to say that, because that is the thing of, you know, my writing doesn't matter when, you know, the world is so very and so I'm thinking, like, even in my writing, like, the one area that I'm play later at the same time as listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks, at the same time as doing my writing, at the same time as, you know, eating and sleeping more. And one of them obviously is, you know, it's my writing, so I kind of, you know, do it on binging or whatever. But the other is just my writing, the things that have given me so much joy and defined my life ended up being, you know, I'm quite a self-loathing individual, and my writing is stuff that is kind of quite personal, and thus I hate to come to understand and analyze what the fuck is going on with myself is my writing. And I'm not able to do my writing properly. People have been asking to kind of say, for me to talk about my writing. I think this is a good primer. You know, I think if you want, but I think at this stage, my writing is at a point where I would be happy allowing people to pay for it. Yeah. I'm not dead. I'm writing. I think my writing's going better. A lot of time and effort into my writing, and okay, I don't necessarily put so much time and effort into my vegetarian. Okay, like a lot of my writing now is very critical of how we treat animals, and so of course I have a And I think this is where my writing can be put to good use. Speaking of pets, I think I had better go.
I have got the stuff that matters to me, my writing, has gotten a massive fucking
block in the wall. I mean, in terms of my writing, like, I don't think there are so many
representations of women in the media. It's just that when it comes to my writing, when it comes to what I write for, I use my imagination, and sort of concepts and stuff from my writing, but I feel like with all the issues that I have with my writing, that's not one of them. At least, like...
And I mean, I was just thinking about my writing, right? Yes, thinking about my writing, right. In the sense that,
to the defense of my writing, the fact that the videos where I angst about my writing are basically saying, but the feminists don't like it.
hold on, there is a house. If I can just kick that fucking can down the road, there is a house. And my writing is getting better.
Internal conflict with regards to my writing. And in general, my writing has been at a bit of an impasse in my way to learn extra stuff to improve my writing. For example, I know that I basically I've been struggling for a while as to my writing. Because essentially
the way I get around my writing is I cheat. I cheat by using the tropes I know from popular culture. Except they're all
wisdom and hopefully become less of a douchebag now. Of course, my writing is always going to be problem to talk about myself in a positive manner. Especially to talk about my writing in a positive manner, given what it is I do to make myself feel better. My writing is currently adding to the angst because of this struggle. Because it's a sign that my writing is doing its fucking job again. Because my writing is a lens through which to examine my own
writer, and I don't tend to write women well because I base a lot of my writing off the media I grew up with as a kid, and be it fencing for stage, but I think I've come up with ways to help me with my writing, so that's good. Then I was literally about to do my writing, I was writing a blog and then I was going to do my writing, and then I'm going to be talking about the big one, about the thing in my writing that I really don't know how to address or deal with. I can claim to be in control of my life beyond YouTube and my blog and my writing and my Skyrim and whatever. And this is what.
So there is no way that I can use my writing to send a message. Well, it's kind of appropriately like the families in my writing, a very weird thing. But it's a very weird thing and I'm not entirely sure.
And I would keep all my writing and stuff there. Please just, how in my writing, in my let's be honest, incredibly sexist writing about sort of the sylphs and
and the things they have available on my writing and whatever the fuck this is.
I'll have time to continue focusing on my writing in terms of this, you know, space opera. But also more generally, like this
video series that I've just uploaded to my YouTube channel about my writing, because at least it might be something nice and light and let you have genuinely that there might be an appetite for my writing, and that might be a good thing, and I am indeed failing upwards, right? To be talked about here. But when it comes to my writing, we are dealing with things that send a message about how eating meat is wrong. I will use my writing to do so, and I've been trying to use my blog, where I upload my writing, where I write essays and things, and where I share my stuff. It's kind of, my writing of this has improved, and to be honest, my writing in general has improved while writing this. Because I love my writing, because there are beautiful people in the world, because there are adorable
way that I am having at the moment, okay, with my writing, because, you know, for those of you not aware, not what you are at night, and I kind of, yeah, I feel like my writing of the characters and whatever is nuanced. There'll also be a link to where you to my NaNoWriMo profile if you want to become my writing buddy, so that, you know, you can compete to see who's writing. And this is why I'm so fucking embarrassed by my writing, you know. And I'm not as good a man as I probably should be, as evidenced from my writing. And I write very weird stuff. To do YouTube, I've got to make videos, I've got to do my writing, I've got to do my listing and my cycling and my walking.